Well, how you guys doing today? It's beautiful here. And yeah, we had a little surprise episode. I didn't record the first one because you guys have already watched the how to replace metal lines on your car, like fuel lines and brake lines and blah, 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 blah. That being said, you know, the little Sunfire Bird, she did excellent this weekend. I drove it like 70 or 80 miles for reals, and it did really good until it started missing. And then I noticed a fuel smell, so I thought maybe they were related. They was not related at all. It was a return fuel line that was leaking, which I already fixed. And it didn't seem to fix the, just, you know what, go ahead and listen to this. So, I mean, it was running real good, real good. You hear that? Of course it idles somewhat smooth now. I promise you, it does not idle smooth all the time. Dang it. Anyway, there, it's starting to go now. If you can hear it, it's starting to whoop, 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 and the exhaust. Can you hear it? Of course you can. I'm going to show you guys how to find it and fix it. And it set a check engine light. So along with the other 12 lights that's on it, it's starting to look like Christmas time in this car, but that's okay. We'll get them one at a time. So me being me, I decided, you know what, I know these cars. These little 2.2s are actually pretty darn good engines. And then I saw that right there. I don't know if you guys can read that or not. That says Packard. And that's not a bad brand at all. In fact, those are a factory brand. And when I mean those are a factory brand, I mean these are the factory wires. And usually at 113,000 miles, that would not be a big deal. But with 113,000 miles, 20 years old, and set for the last 11 years, that could be a little bit of an issue. So I got on the Amazonian site and ordered new NGK plugs, NGK wires, which are not going to be here for like another week. So that's good. But in the process of all that, I thought, man, what's the odds that a coil is going out? So this is what you do, kids. You wrestle around these darn things. Now, usually 9 times out of 10, you will see, and looky there, that's the very first one too. And in fact, is that number 1? No, that's number 4. All right, so number 4, you guys probably can't see in here. That's what stinks. Hold on a second. Let me see if I can get my light. Usually what happens is these electrodes, they get rust in them and on them, and then the car don't want to fire right. Usually it's a lot worse than this whenever they used to come into my shop that I used to work at. And okay, you can actually see rust on that one. I don't know if you guys can you see that rust? So that one actually has rust on it. And if it doesn't, then you look in here and I know you can glance that rust. There's rust inside that one as well. So old Dad did a good trick. Now, get over there. We're gonna go to this one just for gigs. And looky there, we got rust in that one too. We got rust in that guy. So, absolutely, positively, without doubt, we have weak coils. And that's a factorini. The only thing that stinks is we got rust in the wires. Which I can take WD-40 or PB Blaster or Liquid Wrench, whatever I got over there, spray in there, rinse them out, and that should fix them. Now, thank goodness, this is an 02 model, okay? Because if you do have an 02 model, they're right on the side of the head where they should be. you know, right here at this mug. So you gotta take this hose off, and then they're like right there-ish. Has two little tiny bolts for whatever reason holding them on there. And give me a second, I'm gonna show you how to take them off there. All right, let me get this hose out of the way and see what else we got. All right, just give me about 30 minutes. All right. All right, so instead of removing the air hose, I just undid the box because there's 4 screws. She flops over, and then you got 2 long, dang it, 2 long skinny screws that go in the bottom and the top. Now, these from the factory are numbered, see? Let's just say you're not very confident in where these things go. This is why I'm doing it like this, guys. One, you want to make sure they sold you the right part. Just saying, sometimes it happens. So, you look at this one. Okay, yep, You go through your whole spiel of, yeah, that looks right. Now, it goes like this, correct? Plugs in at the bottom. So, it looks like we have what we would call in the automotive thing, saying, yeah, it's going to work. So what you do is you remove one at a time. You can either go ahead and plug this on, and if you want, it's totally up to you guys. I'm going to take a paint marker just for good measure, just for old gigs, and I'm going to mark them. Now, this is the way she goes on. See how the spark plug wires are up top? So this one's number 1, that one's number 4. So that would mean this one's number 1, this one's number 4. So I'm just going to put a 1 and a 4. Now, since I'm going to go ahead and replace both of these, yes I am, because it is not worth the hassle to do this and then have another 20-year-old coil break down on me that was going to break down anyway. So I'm going to go ahead and take this one off the same way. I unplugged this just for better access. Okay, that's for your control module. So I'm going to unplug that just to show you guys better about, by the way, these bolts right here are typically 5.5 millimeter. I know you're saying, the heck's a 5.5? It was a thing that they did, so you had to get on the Snap-on truck, and I think at the time it was the opposable thumb that they wanted for them. I can't remember. As you can see, I kept that one. And I found out that a 7/32, as odd as that sounds, absolutely works, and it works just fine. So that's what I would recommend, is that. Also, guys, if you mark them like this and you do both at the same time, then your odds of messing this up are quite dismal. I mean, they're small. So just saying, you guys do you, I'm gonna do me. This will help the next person if this car would ever go anywhere. Ben Daly, I know you already hit me up on it. I'm just saying, this part would be taken care of. Not that I'm planning to sell it, just saying. But, so I'm gonna mark these coils here also. Number 2, number 3. Now, whenever my wires come in, I mean, it's pretty simple, guys. All the way up front's number 1, 2, 3, 4. The only real firing order you need to know is right back there on them coils. 4, 1, 3, 2. Pretty easy, right? But if you forget it, I'm sure there's a video on YouTube, like Right Turn Garage TV. They can help you out on it. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and unbolt the other coils and get them out of the way. Then we're simply going to plug and play. Before we remove these, I'm going to make sure that one goes to my number 2, that one goes to my number 3. Put it on, bolt it on, and do the same for this one. I'm going to do it one at a time, just so I don't mess it up. Or, yeah. because that's what I'm telling you guys I'm going to do. And really, I'm just going to shut off the camera and yank it all apart and say, that'll work. Or I might just do it the way I said. I'm not sure. But anyway, give me like 3 or 4 minutes. I'll show you how. Well, this is what I'm using. I think that's about a 4-inch extension. And you can just squeeze that sucker right in there. The Freights of Harbor sells these. And I mean, these things are not tight. You don't need to over tighten them, guys. For one, you got a control module back there that costs a heck of a lot more than a coil pack ever will, generally. And also, if you replace these things, if they misfire a heck of a lot, you can actually burn out your control module, is what I've heard. So I'm going to go ahead, nix that problem there, and replace both. And then, with all luck, this sucker should purr as good as she's going to until I get some plugs and plug wires either this week or next week. Is anybody else having trouble getting like general parts offline? I mean, like, for realsies. It said anywhere between May 26th and June 3rd. That seems like a really broad date to wait, or it's like worse than waiting for the cable guy. Like, well, he'll be there in between the hours of 7:30 in the morning and 12 o'clock the next day. Is that AM or PM? Yes. Yes, it is. You know, that's what it feels like to me we're waiting on anymore. But anyway, we'll stop yakking, get to cracking, take these off, put them back on. Then we're going to do a test start, and we're going to hear this thing go just like that, like a good old Sunfire bird. All right, give me carry the one. Give me 4 minutes. All right. Well, I have not started it yet, but I did confirm 100 percentages. This is number 2-3 coil. This had absolutely no rust, no buildup, none of that stuff. Even the wires going to it was absolutely clean. However, number 1 had quite a bit of rust. And number 4 also, if I can get that, yeah, there we go. Now from this side facing me, it looked like they were not baddish. But on the back side of them, absolutely. So this, no good. We don't even want to save that feller. If you clean them up, can you save them? I'm going to dare to say no. I don't think I've ever had one saved. She sounds happy again, which is good. As happy as she can be with factory wires and maybe even factory plugs. But you hear it? It's cleaning out that cylinder. Hopefully. I know. You fell in love with it too. But I just want to tell you guys this. Anytime you deal with a car that's been sitting for the better part of a decade and you get it running, you can't call victory lap instantly. Because weird crap like this is going to happen. You're going to be driving fine. You're going to be driving it all weekend. Let's just say last weekend. It's going to be driving fine. The alternator that was making a bunch of noise just miraculously quit. I am actually surprised this sucker has not went out yet, because I'm about 100% sure it's factory original. And I'm about 100% I will be putting an alternator on it. I am about 100%. I'm almost ready just to put one on it. That way, so I don't have to wait until it does go out. It sounds goofy, but I'm telling you, it doesn't sound good, or like it's in the, you know, you can hear it. You can't hear alternators that often. I don't want that bearing season and like ripping the belt off and leaving me on the side of the road and, you know, that kind of jazz. But on the other hand, I'm like, will it straighten up? You know, that's the cheap side talking, and the whole, well, it's not really cheap, but it's the economical way of thinking, I guess. But either way, guys, this is what you're going to run into whenever you save these barn fines and yard fines and all this good jazz. You're going to have issues, just like the mullet machine over there. You're going to run into somebody else's mess. That thing, guy told me, man, it's got a brand new fuel pump, ain't it, son? I done and cut me one of them easy go hatches in the back where you can get over it. Well, what he meant was he cut an access panel above the axle, because that's where you can get to the fuel pump. It's real easy. I'm not against it. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not against one of those. Might be wrong for saying it. I don't care. I'm not against it. I actually cut one of my Trans Am. So, because I don't think it should take you 4 hours to change a fuel pump because of lack of engineering. Just saying it. That's exactly what it is, lack of engineering. But either way, that fuel pump in that car was sticking out of the fuel tank 1.5 inches because he didn't secure it down in the tank. Whew. Whew. So someone else's "I already fixed it" is definitely not "you're already fixed it." Do you get what I'm saying? The "yeah, it runs" is never an answer you want to hear. Because whenever they say, well, yeah, it runs. Yeah, it runs like dog crap. And they probably really pieced it together, and now they want to dump it on you. So if they're not willing to tell you about it, honestly, I'd probably walk away. But anyway, that's the coil packs on these. And by the way, whenever you unbolt the final coil pack, the control module comes off with it. I thought it mounted to the bracket back here. Well, it does, but it uses those real long, thin bolts. Don't drop them, by the way, because, yep, you ain't gonna find them. I actually didn't drop mine, so I'm pretty happy about that. But anyway, those things there, if you have junk ones laying around, not junk ones, if you have old ones laying around and you find rust, I mean, what's the big deal if I would have taken this, if I had it on the shelf, and just, you know, relabeled it? You know what I mean? 1-4, who cares? Or if I didn't even relabel, I just stuck it on there and said, look, it works, no more miss. So be it, so be it. Whatever gets your cars running, guys. So sometimes you got to do stuff economically anymore. And that's what I'm saying. I'm not trying to take the food out of any mechanic's mouth out there. God knows I love you. But, you know, there's some of us hardworking folk that just need to save some money too. And hopefully this right here will give you enough confidence to check your own cars over. If you don't know where your coil pack's at, all you got to do is simply follow these wires. They'll take you right to it. Unfortunately, I say that to say this: if you own a 96-ish Cavalier, Sunfire, something like that, for whatever reason, they put them on the back side of the head, like right back in no-no land. Just, I don't know why. It was just straight ignorance, honestly. So there's that. And some of these are in some real doozy of a place. But this one here, luckily, it was right up front. It was right there where I could get to it. And hopefully yours is too. But like I say, we're gonna, and I should have done it to begin with. If these things have been setting, you know those are factory wires, because if it's a GM, I don't know when they stopped using Packard wires. I don't know if they still do or not. They could not, I don't know. But anyway, if you see Packard and they're numbered, there's almost 100% chance, unless you went to, I think Rock Auto might sell them like that. Unless you went to Rock Auto and you know for a fact they've been replaced, yeah, those are factory wires. And these have the factory wire looms. Most of the people, not all, most of the people that work on these don't put these back on. They don't put these clips back on. So look for the telltale signs that your car may have not been messed with. If those are back on and you know they've been placed, like by NGK wires and all, that's usually a good sign. I myself like NGK plugs. You may like AC Delco or Champion. That's up to you. Whatever you prefer. Just buy the OEM quality or what have you, or the replacements. If you have a stock motor, this is obviously stock-ish, type-ish, you know. We're not going to win any races, guys, I'll tell you. That's 3 cylinders wasn't great, and I'm guessing 4 cylinders really ain't going to push it over that ledge, but what the heck. We ought to be getting close to 30 MPGs now, so we're going to call that a win. As always, guys, I hope this helped, and we got plenty of YouTube gold. I have a feeling we may be doing an alternator very soon, so stay tuned. And like I say, I have to wait like a month to put the bird and the scoop and pinstripe and all that good jazz on here. But whenever I do, I'll make sure and throw it on there, at least a little clip of it, and let you guys check her out, see what you think, tell me what you think. And hopefully it encourages one of you to do the exact same craziness, you know. The scoop was real cheap. I think it was like 20 bucks off Amazon. Not trying to, you know, or Amazonian side, I shouldn't even said their name. Daggone it. They don't pay me. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching. I'm rambling again. I got too much stuff to do. I can't just be talking all the time. Whew. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys. I appreciate you. And if you don't mind, just, you know, right, it's somewhere, the old subscribe button, wherever it's at, I'd appreciate if you hit it. Tell your friends. Thanks for all you new subscribers. I hope this lives up to your expectations. Hope you love all of them. And we got plenty of YouTube gold coming. It's getting really good, guys. So I appreciate you. We'll see you next time on Right Turn Garage TV.